Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? It's me, Mr. Mac, and welcome to a brand new episode of Mr. Mac's Classroom. I thought I'd change things up a little bit on you guys this time because I've had a couple of videos out, and being me and being an educator is something that means a lot to me. But I figured I'm gonna do something a little different this time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a video where I'm kind of doing like, I know y'all have seen that whole thing on hip hop where artists break down their lyrics in a thing called Genius. Well, I'm gonna be doing my own version of Genius. However, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down what I'm saying in one of my videos to give you guys a little bit of an actual teaching lesson while I'm breaking down the video to show you what I meant by the lyrics and what those concepts in this one mean. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys see this one. And we're gonna look at the video, the first one that I did. The first one I did was on math, all right? It was on mathematics. So we're gonna take a look at this video together. I'll stop it at certain points to just let you know what I was saying, how how it went, and then you guys can let me know what you think. So welcome to a new edition of Mr. Mac's Classroom. Let's get into this video, y'all.
Welcome to Mr. Mac's Classroom.
Right?
You want to learn math? I'll tell you. Hey, I'm an educator and proud. Always say it out loud. Helping youth is my gift. Look the spirit through the clouds. Every subject I'm on now. Make it clear, no static. Especially with this one thing. Let me show you these real mathematics. Starts out with the number line. Zero in the middle. Whole numbers from left to right. You know the rest of this riddle. Or negatives on the left side, positives on the right. Know that we call these integers, not a fraction.
So let me stop right there. So the first 4 bars is just me talking about how much I love being an educator. I'm an educator and proud, always say it out loud. Helping youth is my gift, lead the spirit through the clouds. Every subject I'm on that, make it clear, no steady. Now I go into the whole thing about math. And then the first part, where I so starts out with the number line, 0 in the middle. You learn in math when you're really young that there's a number line, and the number that's always in the middle of that number line is the number 0. However, when you get a little bit more advanced in math, when the next line, starts out with a number line 0 in the middle, whole numbers from left to right, the rest of this riddle. Well, that's me just kind of being a little bit playful with the wordplay. But whole numbers from left to right. Obviously, the numbers are whole on either side of the 0. But when I say, the rest of this riddle, negatives on the left side, positives on the right. What that means is when you get a little bit more advanced in math, you'll know that when you have a number line, positive numbers are always on the right side of the 0. Negative numbers are always on the left side of the 0. And then I put that bar in, not a fraction in sight. Well, those numbers that are negative and positive on both sides of the 0 are called integers. A fraction is not an integer, it's a fraction. Integers are any whole number that are negative or positive. So that's what I meant in those bars. Let's continue and see where I go with this.
Believe it or not, that's just the basics. Now you can use those operations, addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. But put them in order. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Look at you now, you've got the guts. No, Mike O'Malley. You want to be counting those checks? Oh, yeah, I figure no doubt you remember the commas and decimals. Those things they place real value on amount you truly have and amount that you lack. Not trying to escape, just being real. Mathematical fact.
All right, let me break those down. So right after I talk about not a fraction in sight, believe it or not, that's just the basics. Now you can use those operations of addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Obviously, those are the 4 basic operations that you use in math: adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Okay, so that's why I said, the whole thing about the number line, that's the basics of of math. But then you're going into using operations, right after that. And then and we'll put them in order. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's called PEMDAS. PEMDAS is the acronym for PEMDAS is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Those are using all of the operations, but you're also adding in parentheses and exponents. PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, excuse me. So that's why I said, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, because that relates back to the whole thing about the operations. Then I said, look at you now, you got the guts, no Mike O'Malley. If you guys remember that, that's just the bar I threw in there. Mike O'Malley was the host of a show called Nickelodeon Guts and Nickelodeon Global Guts way back in the day. It was one of my favorite shows on TV, but it was me just saying, you know, you can do these things now, you know, you've got the guts to go ahead and do these things. So go ahead and do them now. That's me just being, you know, playful again with the lyrics and the bars. The next thing is you want to be counting those checks. Yeah, I figure no doubt, dude. But remember the commas and decimals, those things, they place real value on amount that you truly have and amount that you lack, not trying to scare you, just being real mathematical facts. So that bar is all about, you know, kind of like swag bar, you know, you want to be counting those checks. Yeah, I figure no doubt, dude. It's me talking to my students, you want to be making that money, right? So you want to be counting those checks, yeah, I figure no doubt, dude. But you have to remember that in money, there's always commas and decimals. And those are things that are very important to place value. Place value, you have decimals, and when you have decimal numbers, you're usually going to be looking to the right of the decimal. When you get into place value, tenths, hundredths, thousandths place, and then also in commas, you have the same thing. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So that's why I said, you know, remember the commas and decimal, those things, they place real value. That's a swag bar, but also kind of playing with it again, place value, place real value on the money. And that's that on amount that you truly have and amount that you lack, not trying to scare you, just being real mathematical facts. Because I don't want anyone, my students or any student, to fear math. So that's why I said, you know, not trying to scare you, just being real mathematical facts. So I just wanted to, you know, give a little playful with the bar, but also still trying to teach. That's what Mr. Mac does. Let's go into the next part.
Now let's keep changing. Flip. My bad, you might be the visual. In an equation with fractions, gotta do the reciprocal. Rewrite the multiplication, cause you know we divide with a fraction. Keep the first number, change operation, flip the second fraction. Look at that action.
I gotta stop right here because this one was, I think, was very creative, very playful. Because what I did in this one is I said, now let's keep changing flip. My bad, you must need a visual. In an equation with fractions, got to do the reciprocal. So when you're talking about reciprocal of fractions, you have to do this rule called KCF, keep changing flip. So let's keep changing flip. My bad, you must need a visual. In an equation with fractions, got to do the reciprocal. And then I tell you the actual steps to do that, to be able to do that. Rewrite as multiplication, because you know we divide with a fraction. Keep the first number, which is what you do. You keep the first number, change operation. You keep the first number, which is the first fraction. You change the operation, which is you go to multiplication. You flip the second fraction, which means you do the reciprocal, which a reciprocal means you just do the opposite. You flip. Okay, you flip the second fraction. I said, look at that action. It's in 3 steps. So when you keep changing flip, keep, change, flip. Keep the first fraction, you change the operation from division to multiplication, you flip the second fraction, which is the reciprocal, and then you solve. So that's why I did that. That's what all about, that part was all about keep, change, and flip. Let's continue.
Those skills in before, they'll help you dig. When you deal with geometry or when you're dealing with trig, not talking curves, when you measuring angles, but I know those steps I've taught you, you'll shine like a banger. Let me keep it real. You know the best way to learn this? Tack math from all sides and never fear, just know you're worth it. Know that I'm here to guide you on every difficult task, and the only stupid questions, dog, are the ones you don't ask.
All right, so let me explain those last parts. So everything that I mentioned before, when I said those skills in before, they'll help you big. Everything I mentioned, keep, change, and flip, place value, decimals, fraction, order of operations, everything that it's gonna help you big understand geometry and trigonometry. Trust me, when you're as a teacher, one thing I've always had to inform my students is letting them know that just because you learned something today doesn't mean you forget about it tomorrow. Everything, especially in math, is connected in some way, shape, or form. So those skills number 4 that'll help you big when you deal with geometry or when you're dealing with trig, not talking Kurt when you're measuring angles. So that was a bar, just talking about, and you saw the Kurt angle, you know, you in trigonometry and geometry you usually have to measure angles. So I said, not talking Kurt when you're measuring angles. And then just another quick bar in there. I said, know those things you'll shine like a bangle. You know, a bangle is a piece of jewelry, and if you polish it and do it right, you get it brand new, it'll shine. So, you know, you do everything that you're supposed to do and you know all those steps, you'll be able to do math with flying colors and you'll shine. And then the last part, let me keep it real. You know, the best way to learn this, attack math to all sides and never fear, just know you're worth it. I want my students to understand, and all students for that matter, to understand that, you know, math is something that you should never fear. 90% or more than that actually aren't really that great in math because they have a fear of it. I've learned over the course of my life that you cannot fear math, and because if you do, that's how you end up not doing so well with it. So, you know, I said, let me keep it real. You know, the best way to learn this, to attack math from all sides and never fear, just know you're worth it. And then the last part, know that I'm here to guide you with every difficult task, and the only stupid questions, dog, are the ones you don't ask. Students of all ages, everywhere, understand this. Me as a teacher and all of the teachers will tell you, if you say it's a stupid question, I'm going to tell you, no, it's not a stupid question. It's the only stupid question you could ever ask any teacher, especially myself, is a question that you don't ask, because chances are, if you don't ask the question, you'll never know the answer. You'll just fear it and skip it. So never, ever do that. So that's my video for mathematics. That was the first one. Let me stop sharing. That was the first video that I did. I had a lot of fun doing that one. The beat was dope, you know, the whoop-de beat from CJ. Shout out to the producer of that beat. But there'll be more of this. Again, you know, I love being able to sit down and just kind of break things down and give you a quick lesson about what I meant. But thank you all for enjoying this video, or rather watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and keep it up. I will be back with another one next week. Always know that I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. This has been Mr. Mac, and you are now rocking with Mr. Mac's Classroom. Peace.